Denise. You are with the Ask Your Angels talk show, and I'm here with Rita Benici, and we are talking about the greater good.
The greater good is basically calling upon, it's a twofold sort of business where it's educating consumers and also protecting consumers as well. So bringing this educational piece as to where they can find authentic, integral, holistic practitioners and service providers. So it's, it's this pre-screened sort of company and pre-approved, bringing people on board that will do what they say they're going to do and give the consumers an amazing experience. So consumers can let their guard down and trust that each one that's referred from the greater good, whatever the modality is one that they're going to trust and have a great experience with. So I actually have two businesses. I have Reiki Healing with Heart, which I work as a practitioner, doing Reiki, known as Reiki Rita, and then reflexology and spiritual counseling. So with that, as I started to do it and getting solid testimonials from people, I started realizing, why aren't we out there? Why don't people know about this modality? Why do I always find that I'm explaining myself about what it is? And there's real value in Reiki as well, and reflexology. So I guess probably a couple years later, I decided that let's do business that actually promotes it with other holistic modalities and educates consumers. So hence the birth of the greater good. So greater good in the name itself encompasses everything. So that's kind of where I started. And so it's recognizing what it is, and it's a huge teaching component to what different holistic modalities are and what the benefits are to consumers.
So what would you say the benefits would be to consumers?
I would say the biggest benefit as a business owner and a consumer is, first of all, awareness. People can't come to something they know nothing of. So although we have the internet and we're inundated with information highways, a lot of consumers still really don't know what certain modalities do, how it would benefit them. So it's an educational piece, helping people recognize where to find practitioners that offer these services and how to find ones they can trust. So I guess building trust and protection for consumers is a key benefit to consumers tapping into the greater good.
So for people that, until we did this show, there's a lot of modalities I didn't even know about. And we're trying to, educate our viewers on all the different modalities. But let's say you have certain health issues or emotional issues, and you don't know what modality you need. So would the greater good be able to help a consumer in that respect as well?
That's a good question. What I'd like to do is, I guess we'll step back later and explain what the whole process is, becoming on board with the greater good. But typically, if a consumer doesn't know, there's actually a process of introduction, so that the consumer will come, contact the greater good, and then, if it's not me, someone else will speak and talk to the consumer and basically ask, what is it you need? What are you looking for? And my goal is to get to know all of these members, in a way that we're all, very familiar with each other, so that we could, give solid recommendations to the consumer and perhaps suggest things and say, well, if you're looking for emotional healing, this is a modality you might consider. If you're looking for something more in the physicality, this is something you might consider. So then giving them those options and helping them, so guiding them as well.
I love that idea, and I love that it's personal. It's I used to be in the recruitment field, and there were a couple of girls when the business shut down decided they wanted to open recruitment for love. And what they do is, it's a matchmaking service, but instead of, the usual way that you do it, you have, the forms you fill out and everything else. I'm sure you still do that, but it's very personal. They want to get to know their client. they get to know the ones that are looking so that they can make a personal match. It's kind of like that. You're matching them with the right modality.
Exactly.
And it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very streamlined for the individual.
Well, you know, there are a lot of, because someone has asked me once, is this more like a networking sort of for the holistic practitioners? Yes and no. My vision is to build the largest, you know, holistic community and resource center through the greater good. However, what I want to do is not create something that's just a networking type thing. There will be a networking component. However, the greater good is about setting people up and helping to meet integral practitioners. It's not just, you know, here's your money for a networking fee, and you can be part of this community. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of responsibility that comes under that as well. So, you know, kind of holding members to that level of integrity as well. So we're not just coming on board and just, you know, putting it out there. It's a work in progress.
You're not just getting people that are after free not free, but they're not coming to you to get you to advertise for them. They're coming because you have a process in place where you're ensuring that they are good quality, reputable, that they're going to give the best service possible.
Exactly. I guess the biggest reason I launched it, Christine, was as a consumer as well, that there's a process into purchasing, okay? And a lot of consumers, again, don't know. We're just starting to open up this window with respect to holistic understanding. So consumers are educated, but they're still unsure. So if you go, and that's the thing that kind of drives me with the greater good, is that if you were to, let's take Reiki for instance. Reiki's about energy. So it's not a tangible thing. It's not the kind of thing that people can touch, feel. Well, they can feel if you're, you know, more empathetic to it. However, touch, taste, feel, you know, that sort of thing. Tangible service or product. So what happens is if the consumer were to purchase a Reiki session, not knowing really what it was, and not really knowing what to experience, they don't really know if they had a good experience or not, or what's supposed to happen for them.
Of course.
So, yeah, and the unfortunate thing is that if they go out and have a not so great experience, then they're not likely to come back again.
They'll just assume that is what Reiki is, and it's not for me, and then they probably will spread the word that Reiki doesn't work, and
exactly, and they'll
that's a good
tell
point.
10 people, and they'll tell 10 people,
and so on.
Because some of our best, what most holistic practitioners will, or any business owner will say that their best clients are referrals.
Yes.
Okay. So also finding qualified clients for these members as well, because when people see that, recognize that the practitioner is solid, integral, and authentic, then you know what? They're going to come and they're going to attract certain people that are looking for that. And those people will go out and tell other people and bring more positive, like-minded consumers as well. So it's a positive attracts positive. So we're looking for that and embracing that. And just the greater good being that big umbrella. You know, it's about everything. It's about extending to all modalities. But I realized through my process is that there is a large educational piece. Educating consumers as to what to look for and what are these modalities. So they can flick on the greater good and start to learn, this is what Qigong is, this is what Reiki is, this is what massage is, this is what, you know, an aura is, or chakras.
You know what, I actually started that on Ask Your Angels. If you go into Ask Your Angels, www.askyourangels.ca, under healing modalities, I've listed every healing modality I can possibly think of with a description of what it is. And I would think for the greater good, something like that with maybe even a video tutorial from the people you're representing would be great to go more in depth.
That's a great idea, actually.
I'm actually, intuitively, I'm seeing this is going to become extremely big. I actually kind of, while you were talking, I'm getting this vision of this, huge open house that you're having where all your members are there meeting your consumers. Like it's a big gala type night. I know, but I can see it. It's a big deal. I'm seeing like people walking around serving like wine, and it's very classy and very, it's like a successful celebration. So
I feel that as well. Thank you.
I know it's going to be great.
I envision that as well, and it's about I guess the driving factor was to the vulnerability of consumers as well, and keeping the essence of what we do. When I first started out Reiki, I remember one person said to me, "Well, you don't look like the typical Reiki person." And it was
what do they look like?
I guess there's still that imprint of this mystical look.
Oh, well, and that's what I was talking to you about earlier, about the garbs and the costumes and that sort of thing.
Exactly. So trying to you asked me about that. It's about trying to teach consumers that we're regular people that hone in on our intuition, which everybody has.
Exactly.
But we just listen to it, and we eat and sleep in warm houses as well, and we make a living out of using this gift. So it isn't that we're coming out to get you. So it's protecting the integrity of practitioners that choose to do this for a living, okay, versus a traditional, domestic sort of conventional job that people are thinking, And it's also protecting the vulnerability of the consumer.
And there's a lot of vulnerability.
Yes, and they have to be aware as well, because, right now everybody's jumping on the wellness wagon. There's a lot of greenwashing. I've worked in the corporate arena for over 12 years now, in different areas and different aspects as well. And I've got a very strong sales and marketing background as well.
I do
specialize.
Too.
Nice.
That's why we get along.
Yeah, so I've got that left brain as well as a right brain, and what I do at the Greater is bring both together, So it's this vulnerability as well that consumers have, and this misconception. So my vision with the Greater Good going forward is to bridge that gap. That, a conventional's not bad, alternative's not bad. They're just different. But together, we can do wonders. So that's my vision going forward.
A huge task you have ahead of you, bringing those two together.
Yes, absolutely. And people can't say it be done, but that'll be the indigo in me.
I think it can be done. I see that. I see where you're headed. It's beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
We were talking earlier about psychics. You'd asked me why I asked if how do you tell if a psychic is real or not? And for me personally, when I decided to do this as a business and start doing readings, I've been doing them since I was a kid.
Yes.
But a few years ago decided this is all I want to do. So I do referral only. And what I did is I went to a psychic fair. It was at the International Center. And I thought, here's a place, this is going to be so exciting. I'm going to go there and I'm going to see all these people doing this, and I'm going to learn. Like I learn on the show. That's what I thought was going to happen. And I walked in there, and it's circus. I mean, there was a guy there, like I said, in the the robes and the costume, and in a glass, looking like something out of Wrigley's Believe It or Not.
Right.
This is a mummified hand of such and such palm reader from 1800 and something, and I'm thinking, this is why we get a bad name.
Yes.
This is why people don't understand what we do. And they think a lot of it is fake, or and as you said, we all have this ability if we tap into it. But I believe these people are, what's the word? They're
entertainers, quite honestly.
They're entertainers, but they're also they're using your vulnerability to make money.
There's a bit of a opportunist, perhaps. Unfortunately, anybody who is a business owner understands that whatever the category is, whatever the industry is, they're always there. They're always going to be, sort of these, for lack of a better word, bottom feeders that are just out there because, it's about making money and so forth. the greater good is about integrity, you know. And how would you recognize the authentic psychic or anything? Basically, it's the consumers that will lead us.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back to the solid referral, that people know what they feel. You know, they're gonna know whether they're being played. They're also gonna know whether they feel comfortable. You know, whether consumers are aware of it or not, they do feel people's energy. So, you know, I often wondered what I would say if you asked me that question. And I guess what I would say is if people feel it's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
if they feel, even if it's not something they want to hear, but it's the truth, you can feel that, okay?
What about those who aren't then in tune, though? You hear about it all the time that people actually go to these psychics and they're told, oh, I know someone, actually Linda in our
Mhm.
group, her daughters went to a psychic who, it was nothing but doom and gloom and horrible things.
Mhm.
And it was more showcase, you know, it
Yes,
was
yes.
theatrics. But it shook them, you know,
Mhm.
and the general consensus is that it wasn't real. But I think there's still people who you
Mhm.
take it because we
Yes,
can
yes,
manifest
right.
things, right? It's that law of attraction.
Yes.
So if someone says to you, this is going to happen, this horrible thing, and you keep dwelling on it and thinking about it,
Mhm.
you can make it happen. So that's where it becomes tricky, knowing
Exactly.
if they're real or not.
Exactly. Well, I guess what I what I want to do here is eliminate this from going on.
Yes.
So my job as a marketing specialist as well is to brand the logo, brand the greater good, so that when consumers, much like the McDonald's sign, when you see that, you know what you're getting. So when they start to see the greater good logo as well, I think probably we'll get the chance to see that at
Yes,
some
can
point.
we actually put that up?
Yeah.
So do you want the seal of integrity?
Yeah, if you can actually see the seal of integrity.
It's directly between the two heads. Right
Oh.
about there.
Our two
Okay.
heads.
Okay, so consumers, well, my job is to start making awareness that when you see that seal, then you know that you're in good hands. And if you still have a bad experience, then there's somebody that's going to listen to you and try to make that better for you, so that you walk out,
You're
know,
protected.
yes, you are protected. So it's consumer protection. However, if the consumer chooses to go elsewhere, then they're typically on their own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the old saying, you get what you pay for.
Right.
So, it's consumer beware.
And is
So-
there a cost to the consumer?
Actually, it's a good question. There's no cost to the consumer, okay? There's a cost to members coming on board to be part of this group. However, for the consumer, no. There's actually no cost.
Well, you can't get a better deal than that.
So there you go. Other than awareness and getting to meet some real awesome practitioners
Yeah.
and to give some modalities a try. Something that typically you have thought about or heard about, and this is a chance to do it, and you'll be in a safe place. So,
I
yeah.
think it's just incredible what you're
Yeah.
doing. I really
Thank you.
do.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say, for those of you who have just joined the show, you are with Ask Your Angels, and we are at www.askyourangels.ca. And tonight we have Rita Benici with us, and we're talking about the greater good,
Mm-hmm.
and we're so glad you joined us.
Thank you.
If people want to have a look at your website while we're talking, where would they go?
www.thegreatergood.biz, B-I-Z.
Great.
Yeah. So, please jump on and offer your opinions, offer your thoughts, and it's about not feeling that as well while I'm saying that. Is that I need your feedback.
And if you've had a situation where you have seen a practitioner, you feel that, maybe not mention names because we are live, but just give us a scenario and maybe ask Rita her opinion on that. Does that sound good?
Okay, sure, absolutely.
So do you have a mission statement?
Let me see if I remembered offhand. Okay, my mission statement is the greater good is dedicated to building the largest holistic referral community that protects consumers and also educates consumers to let them know where to find authentic and integral holistic practitioners and suppliers. So we're dedicated to building that for you. And
That's a
for
big
us.
mission statement.
And that's, you know what?
But that
sometimes I
shows how
think-
much work you have to do.
I know, but you know what I realize as well is that, I'm not claiming to be the be-all end-all here. I'm the instigator, I'm the one who's starting and spearheading it. But I'm counting on all members to come on board that see value with this, to get behind me and walk with me and build this together. And much I use this analogy of a picture, a puzzle, that we cannot know the whole picture until every intricate piece is in place. So I see holistic practitioners, believe it or not, as I feel like Mama Bear, and they're my children, and that they will stand behind me and beside me, and we'll build this greater good. And the vision is to extend and humanitarian works and global vision and global healing. This is what the greater good encompasses.
Yes.
So we start with the practitioners. We start with find them. We find the best of the best, the integral of the integral. And you know what? Honestly, they're finding me, because it's the people that already see value in this that are coming on board. And then maybe there's some people that are still getting their stuff together, and they're not quite there yet. But there's a divine timing, and at some point, everybody will see value in this. Because
Absolutely.
if you have those qualities, Christine, then you see value in it.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't about me getting rich and putting this together. This is about somebody calling it together, because I also feel that it's time for us to get recognized.
Yes.
It's time for us to stop having to defend what we do and how we do it and all that happy stuff, so that we can make a living out of what our gifts are. Just like, there's space for everybody. So, if the universe says, what, you're going to be a psychic, there should be no shame in that. There should be comfortable in saying, I'm going to make a living out of that.
Mm-hmm. And that's been an evolution in itself, to be able to actually get up here week after week in front of you and say that, I'm intuitive and I can do readings.
Exactly.
And a few years back, I would never have done that because people weren't accepting.
Yes.
But I truly believe that something's shifting,
Yes.
especially this year. I don't know what it is about this year.
It's a powerful year. There feels a sense of urgency as well.
Yes.
To get this out there and give people options. It isn't about one or the other. It's about why not work together. We are not competitors.
Mm-mm.
Okay, what I want to do is, with the greater good, is build healthy alliances, partnerships. So going back to this puzzle, with every piece is so unique and different. And that's what we are. And when I do these workshops and seminars, Christine, it's mind-boggling, because I'll often say to people, how many people say we're all different? Yes. How many people say that we sound different? Yes. Dress different, think different, act different. So then why are we all trying to be the same? So with that, let's go over and bring all those different little pieces of the puzzle together to create this whole, this hub company. This is a greater good. So that now we have some credibility, and this is how it would help practitioners as well. That there's a power in numbers, okay? And everybody knows that it starts with one person, but there is a power in numbers, and that everybody comes together and brings their essence, their light, then this will grow harder and faster, and that consumers will be protected, they'll have that information, and we're going to live in a very different world, where we're vibrating at a different sort of level of energy.
Absolutely, I believe
so
that.
I'm excited about that.
I am too.
Maybe I'm a dreamer.
No, everyone
Yeah.
I've come into contact with who's been on the show, we can feel it. We feel that urgency.
Yes.
We feel the shift. We feel something wonderful's happening. It's kind of like, and I always refer back to Celestine Prophecy. Have you seen that movie?
Absolutely.
Where I love it. I just love it.
Yes.
Where at the end you basically see heaven on earth, things that have always been here. We've just been ignorant to them,
Yeah. Yeah.
I find in meeting these people too, when I first started, you get in a room full of practitioners, And you'll find that many of them share different qualities. Like for Reiki, someone might do reading, someone might do massage, but maybe they both do Reiki. So a lot of them share similarities, but the greatest thing that I found, and I found this when we did our fundraiser a couple of weeks ago, we were all in a room together, is that, at least for myself, I believe that if I'm meant to help people, they will be brought to me. I never go looking for them. So I've never felt in competition with people, like-minded people who are practitioners, because we're all here for the same purpose. We're all here to help people, and the people that need us most will be brought to us regardless. So when you get all those people in the room together, I don't know if you felt it because you were at the fundraiser.
Absolutely.
The energy was incredible because we all had one goal. We were all working together. It was beautiful, and maybe we didn't make as much as we had hoped, but you know what? That was the most successful day. It was beautiful. And with what you're trying to create here, that's something that will just continue to grow and grow and grow. And if it goes worldwide, that same feeling we felt, we're going to feel.
Absolutely.
Get emotional about, but we're gonna feel it all over the world. It's like you know how everyone says Christmas. Why can't every day feel like Christmas?
Well, and you know what? It's time now.
Yeah.
And what I want to say with respect to that, and that's when I'm getting my goosebumps.
It's cold down here.
Yeah, it's that's usually my my angels kind of saying yes it is, and I've asked them to speak and help me with this message as well today. But what I want to say as well, yes, a lot of holistic practitioners, and I want to speak to them right now as well, that we have a goal, and I know that there's an education piece that needs to happen, because a lot of us feel that because it's a gift that it will just kind of come to us, but it's like anything else. We need to apply energy, okay? Meaning we have to, take the step and move forward, and then things will start to work. We can look at all the pictures we want, but if we don't apply energy, it's not going to happen. So I'm kind of the creating a turnkey sort of option for practitioners as well, where they can come in and kind of be under this umbrella that's going to do it. So there's a bit of a process, okay? And just to let you know, not everybody's going to come on board, unfortunately.
Right.
Because I've had to go a bit of a
screening process.
Yes, that screening process. So I've had to grow a little bit of a thick skin in a very nice and respectful way, to again protect consumers, because that's the whole, foundation behind this. So there is this screening process that happens first. And anyways.
Can you give us an example of what that is?
Okay, it's what happens is people that are interested or intrigued by this will go onto my website, and you'll actually go to membership tab, and you'll see the first assessment. Once you pay the $49 fee, you get the survey that pops up, and it asks different questions. Now it'll ask questions about, how long have you been in business? All the questions are basically geared to understanding what it is you do, because we can't refer clients to you and find what makes you unique until I understand a little bit about you. Is your clinic in a home? Is your clinic in a rental building? Do you have staff? If so, how many? Is your environment safe? Will the consumer feel safe in your environment? Are you a nice person? Do you have any business?
Do you ever get anyone who says no?
Well, not typically, but this is the key to this as well, is that I'm not working alone here. Right now I'm kind of working on my own, and I do plan on building a board as well and having the input from all the members with respect to if this energy feels good. But for now, I also have a lot of, use of my, higher self as well as to whether this is a good move or not. And let's put it this way.
Right? Like if certain people, it's kind of like, again, going back to Celestine prophecy, where she felt he was taking her energy.
Yeah.
She kind of backed away.
You can feel it.
That's what I feel.
Exactly.
If I'm emailing or considering someone for the show, I get what I call my icky feeling. And you can do this too at home.
Yes.
If you get a knot in your stomach, something feels off, you feel maybe a little depressed or worried, or that's a clear sign that something's not right.
Okay.
But if you feel really, like you said, I get
Exactly.
chills, I get goosebumps.
That's
you
a
know.
positive. But
Yeah.
if you also remember, my job is made easier because positive attracts positive. You know, negative attracts negative. So people, as soon as you throw words like integrity, authenticity, trust, truth, these are all high vibrational words. So ethics, honor, people that will come on board will be of that, capacity. So my work really isn't that tough. And
It's
I really
kind of the
haven't.
same with finding guests for the show. It's the same thing.
Exactly. So I haven't really had to say no to a lot of people, although there is that kind of other side of me that again is that protective and say, well, let's say that, let's go back to the assessment process.
Right.
Let's say that they don't quite fit the bill. Let's say they don't have the marketing in place, or that their venue isn't safe for a consumer, these sort of things. I will come back and give them, critique it and say, yes, you're on board. And if you're on board, you move to the membership process, which is an additional $199 for the full year. Okay. If not, then I give them the all the different things that they need to look at to reconsider. So,
So you give them another shot if they want to. Okay, these are things that you're not quite meeting our standards. So come back later and we'll look at it again.
Exactly. So some
Good.
people are already doing that. Kind of saying, I'm not quite there, Rita, but I will be. So, don't let that make you afraid, okay? If you have questions, please approach me. And I'm not the judge and jury here, but I'm just putting some system in place. And I know that together we will all critique this out. And so I'm starting it, and I'm counting on everybody as a whole to carry this through. This isn't about, because people might say, well, what gives you the right? And you're right. What gives me the right?
What, to judge people?
To judge. And
but you have to. You're representing the consumer. You have to.
Yes.
That's the whole purpose of it.
Exactly. Actually, that's a very good point. Because what I'm doing is, having worked, and I wasn't born and bred into holistic or psychic awareness. I grew up in a very mainstream family with a very mainstream understanding. So I have that inner critic always comes up, because I'll kind of say, well, explain to me why you're a good massage therapist or qigong person, so I can almost get behind what a consumer would think. It almost seems to be a gift of mine. So I can separate myself for a minute to see what they would see. So that's what I would help practitioners with. That say, you know what I'm seeing, I love what you're doing. However, a consumer may not know that quite yet. So let's get you recognized in a way that consumers already know. So we're going to take the path of least resistance in the way that 80% of the market typically knows that when they're sick, they go to a doctor, conventional, that wears a uniform, has a plaque on the wall, and that tells them, conditionally or unconditionally, that they're a trustworthy and experienced doctor, and they're going to do what they say they're going to do. So with the greater good, we're doing the same thing right now. Is that after you get the full membership, you will get that framed certificate as well, and that will go on your wall, and that will also start to brand, so that people will see your, the greater good.
Did we get a picture of that, the certificate?
I think I may have brought one as well.
We're going to go to a question first, and then we'll show you the certificate.
Okay.
A bit of a question came online, and it's, does she weed out the frauds in these fields, and how will you do it?
Which is kind of like what we've been talking about.
Right. Well, typically, I think what I'm going to count on mostly is first going through the assessment process. So let's, one of the questions I have is, where did you get your training? Is it authentic certification behind you? So starting to look at the hard, fast stuff they have to show that they actually taught or learned what they learned. another thing is that testimonials from people, again, they'll be able to recognize truth and the way they feel. And if people are coming back and saying, I don't feel so good about this, then a flag's going to go up. You know, and even if, say, somebody gets under the radar, then, you know, that's why we have this open door policy, so that people can approach, come back and say, I didn't really have a good feeling about that. Okay, so then we're going to have to talk to that practitioner and see what went down. So, you know, there is a system in place right now. However, again, if somebody gets through that sort of radar,
You're
then
still
we'll revisit
protected.
it again as well. Absolutely. And they do have to sign forms, you know, clearing them as well, that they are, if for whatever reason the greater good feels that this isn't a good fit, or you're not doing what you say you're going to do, then you'll need to leave as well.
So there is limitations and restrictions you have in
Yes.
place.
Absolutely.
That's a great
Absolutely.
question. Thank
Yes,
you
thank
so
you
much
for
for chatting
asking.
that in. Can we get a visual of the certificate? Because this is what you're going to start seeing on walls in about
Absolutely.
a year's time, all over the
Exactly.
place, maybe sooner.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So it'll help consumers feel comfortable. So once they start to see that, they're going to go, you know, wow, that is an
Now,
authentic person.
This will go full screen so that everybody can see it while we are live.
Because they won't see us. We can pull faces and
Okay,
stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So
Oh, still keep talking. Okay.
okay. So yeah. So I don't know if you have any questions there, but that was my idea, is to already work with a system that's working. You know, consumers are opening up to this, so let's, you know, kind of mimic what they're comfortable with, and then once they get comfortable, then we can, you know, add the next layer of understanding about what we do. So, you know, people might say, am I going to lose my essence if I become more strategic? The answer is no. You know, and that's the thing, is that as a marketer, holistic marketer, the beautiful thing about, you know, one of my gifts is that I understand the essence of what we have, and I know how to interpret it and communicate it to mainstream consumers, because they don't always hear what we hear, they don't always see what we see, but, you know, we literally have to get ourselves out there now, because there are so many people that are suffering and don't know that there's other options, you know, and again, it's not about competing with each other. It's about, you know, keeping the consumer in mind. At the end of the day, it's about the person that's in pain.
Mm-hmm.
So let's all work together. And if we're threatened by that, then that's a flag for me. You know, we shouldn't be threatened by that, because we're losing sight of what's important. And what's important is that client. Okay, so when the client comes in, and whether it's a physical need, emotional need, spiritual need, you know, mental need, mental clarity, let's all hone in and find the people that can make that person whole, you know.
Exactly.
So that's what it is. And what I see for the greater good going forward is global, like humanitarian works, outreach programs. I want to work with animals, with children. You know, we have this money so that we can send into different countries. And you know what? Make darn sure that it's going where it needs to go. You know.
I love hearing that, because
Yes.
that's every time, you know, those commercials come on, the
Yeah,
kids, they're
yeah.
starving and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot of money, but if I'm going to give, I think I
Yes,
want to,
yes.
but then it's, you just can't help but wonder, is it getting
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
And you hear stories that it's not getting there, and it's all a big
Exactly.
money-making
Yeah.
thing. And you know, if there's a way to find out for sure that it's there. I mean, I worked with Rotarians before, and they actually physically get on planes and go over and help the kids.
Mhm.
You know that anything you give them is actually getting there. So we
Yes.
do need more of that.
Absolutely. And you know what, as we move forward, I
Sorry,
want to...
we have a question.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
mean to cut you off, but
Sorry,
problem.
just somebody's asked about the website, and if you
Okay.
have it, if you can give it again.
Yes.
And somebody else asked another question that we can kind of flow in. Does this apply in the States too, or just Canada?
oh, because we have people all
good
over the
question.
world watching.
Absolutely. Because it's more or less an online business right now, everybody's welcome. Okay. There isn't any way I can't assess you. I mean, initially, I wanted it to start out in Canada, but I'm sure there's a way we can work if you're in the
Go
States. Or
global,
whatever.
you can just
We're
go
the
right
greater
into
good.
there and dive in.
We're the greater good. We're not limited to one space. We're everywhere and anywhere. And if you're strategically placed in another place other than where we are physically, we absolutely welcome you as well. So go on to the website, which is www.thegreatergood.biz, B-I-Z, and link on into membership, and you'll see all that stuff there as well.
These people might end up being your ambassadors in other countries.
Well, you know what? Spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just about me starting it.
Yeah.
And what I'm also counting on is that all of us will keep us grounded and integral. That I do see this being very successful. It's time for us now.
Yes.
So that one thing I've always prayed for was that I would never, my head would never explode that way. But you know what? My heart is not that way. So, we're always going to give back, and that's what it is. It's about letting this flow and helping people. There are people out there that need help, and
Yes.
my heart goes out to them. So, you know what, if we have that abundance, then you know what, it's going to go, and we're going to help, and it will be everybody helping as a collaborative team, and there is and safeguarding that it doesn't get tainted.
Yes.
Okay, and it won't, because of the name itself. It's protected. It is protected by something bigger than all of us, so it won't be tainted. So rest assured there as well, that you got my word, that it won't be. And so I'm so excited.
Well, you should be.
So
it is exciting. I was excited the first time I heard about it, and it's just getting better all the time.
Thank you. It's it is challenging. It's not easy, because we're evolving and we're doing something that's different, and a lot of people aren't accustomed to change. But at the same time, change is healthy. Change is, and it's really not change. It's taking an old sort of system, but inviting another opportunity, which is alternative. But what I wanted to say as well is that I also see it expanding into different industries. It's not just holistic people that are integral. There are holistic lawyers. There's holistic, musicians. There's holistic, you name it. Any other type of, industry that perhaps has got a bad rap. And those one or two good guys, let's find them. Let's bring them on board. Let's get them recognized, whether it's, that unfortunately, the sleazy car salesman. There's probably some really good car salesmen out there. So I want to extend out there as well, that at some point it would be an outreach for different industries and different things, finding the best of the best for all categories as well.
What you're probably going to find too is that the consumers that you're helping with the holistic side, those consumers might have their own business and say, I love what you're doing, can you do this for me? And maybe that's where the businesses are going to start coming from as well.
That brings up a good point, Christine, because what I'd like to invite as well is, in order for us to have businesses and to run holistic, businesses, we also need the people behind the scenes, that much like our cameraman today, but other people that do really good stuff that aren't, say, holistic healers,
right?
But they support us, whether it's a website designer, whether it's a supplier of our sheets for our beds, whatever it is, come forward, because we need you as well.
And I was going to ask you that if any of our viewers are not practitioners but would like to help, again, please contact Rita at www.thegreatergood.biz. There you go.
One other thing I'd like to say as well is I'd like to invite, I just lost that. This is part of getting old, isn't it?
You'd like to invite...
Well, I was going to say outreach, I'd like to expand into more community as well. So I have an actual area on the website, and I know we helped out with Dorian's fundraiser, but if somebody is in need of support as well, that's what the greater good is about. So if there's a cause that's legitimate and you really need some help, then tell us about it. There's a section on the website, email me and let us know. there's also a page for acts of kindness that I believe that needs to get recognized as well. That, you know,
like testimonials if someone does something nice for
absolutely,
you. That's wonderful.
absolutely. You know, or nice things about that. So that's another way to give back to our members, is that they can also, you know, post their testimonials, you know, and give them that 2 minutes fame. So, you know, we need to hear this. And
We do, because
you know,
people are more prone to take the time to complain.
yes.
You know, when I'm at a restaurant, if the service is really great, I always try to talk
Yes.
to the manager on the way out and say, that is the best waitress I've ever had. Because people take the time to complain. Why not take the time to, you know, praise as well?
Exactly. So let's flip it around. And I know together we can all do that. Is that let's focus on positivity. And that we have to start changing the channel. When we start to see, you know, a conversation or something going, you know, spiraling downwards, let's lift it up. Let's add more light. You know, so that's what I call the sort of AOL people, absence of light. So the greater good is about light. And I want it to be a transparent company that people, there are no strings attached. It is what it is. And, you know, if not, if you're feeling that it isn't, then come talk to us about it and tell us how you feel. So typically, again, working with energy, people would be attracted to that high vibration. So it'll almost automatically, I feel, weed out those that aren't at that vibration anyways. So I really haven't had a lot
and
of
after
issues.
this show, they're going to be scared anyway.
But
No,
please
I'm
don't
just
be
kidding.
scared.
I'm kidding.
It's all about us finding each other. That, you know, you hear these phrases, the good guy comes last or something to that effect. And that, you know what? Why is that? So it's like, what about the good guy? You know, it gets recognized now. So, and I think that's where it's at. Yeah.
So, well, I think it's wonderful. And again, I would really encourage you to get involved however you can, whether you're a practitioner or, you know, you just love this idea. Please contact Rita.
Yes,
And
please do.
again, she's at www.thegreatergood.biz.
Yes.
And I want to thank you so much for coming in tonight. It
Thank
was so,
you.
I don't
This
know
is
what
awesome.
it is. It was so emotional for me tonight, more than usual. So, but I just,
Thank you.
I wish
This
you all
is-
the best.
Thank you. I wish you all. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say to you that you're doing amazing things here as well.
Thank you.
And that needs to be recognized
Thank you.
as well.
Rita.
So God bless you as well.
Okay.
And thank you for tuning in.
Thanks so much. Oh,
Thank
and
you.
next week, I'm almost confident that we have a show on bees. It's all the buzz. It's sacred geometry.
Nice.
So,
Excellent.
so sacred geometry. I think that's it. Okay, so 8:30 p.m. next week, same time. Have a great night. Bye.
Namaste. Blessings.
Namaste.